The Comprehensive School Safety Plan. This section highlights the California Ed Code requirement for every kindergarten through 12th grade school, public and public charter, including community and court schools, to develop and maintain a comprehensive school safety plan designed to address campus risks, prepare for emergencies, and create a safe, secure learning environment for students and school personnel. You may know that all school staff must be trained on the components of the safety plan. This means that the updated school safety plan should be reviewed and practiced regularly by all certificated and classified staff. The requirements related to the comprehensive school safety plans can be found in Ed Code sections 32280 through 32289.5. Per Education Code, the Comprehensive School Safety Plan must be written and developed by the School Site Council. However, the School Site Council has the option to delegate this responsibility to a school safety planning committee that meets the composition requirements specified in Ed Code, which includes the principal or his or her designee, one teacher who's a representative of the certificated employee organization, one parent whose child attends the school, one classified employee who is a representative of the classified employee. And if the school doesn't have a school site council, then this responsibility will also be fulfilled by a school safety planning committee made up of the members just noted. When developing or updating the comprehensive school safety plan each year, the school site council or safety planning committee is required to consult with a representative from a law enforcement agency, a fire department, and other first responder entities. Additionally, any updates made to the plan during the year must be shared with these entities. This requirement to consult with the fire department and other first responder entities in addition to law enforcement agencies became effective January 1st, 2019 through Assembly Bill 1747. Lastly, in a school district with fewer than 2,501 units of average daily attendance, there may be one district-wide comprehensive school safety plan for all schools within the district. So in that case, the district-wide plan would be developed by the district rather than the school site council or school safety planning committee. The next set of slides provide the contents of the comprehensive school safety plan that are outlined in statute. There are many required components that must be included in the plan, as well as some components that are encouraged or recommended per Ed Code. Everything listed on this slide and the next slide falls under the required components. The plan must include an assessment of the current status of the school crime committed on campus and at school-related functions, which may include a review of data such as office referrals, suspension expulsion data, attendance rates, or SARP data. Other required components include child abuse reporting procedures, disaster procedures, procedures to allow a public agency, including the American Red Cross, to use school buildings, grounds, and equipment for mass care, suspension and expulsion policies and procedures to notify teachers of dangerous students. Here, we see a continuation of the required components, which include the discrimination and harassment policy, the school-wide dress that prohibits students from wearing gang-related apparel, if the school has adopted one, procedures for safe ingress and egress of students, parents, and staff, school discipline rules and procedures for conducting tactical responses to criminal incidents, and procedures to prepare for an active shooter based on local needs. Recent legislation added additional components to those required to be addressed in this comprehensive school safety plan. Effective January 2024 was the addition of the procedures to assess and respond to reports of any dangerous, violent, or unlawful activity that is happening or threatened to happen at a school or schools, or at an activity off campus that is school activity, or on a school bus that's serving the school. Additionally, school safety plans serving students in grades 7 through 12 must include a protocol for responding to an opioid overdose. There are also several requirements related to disaster procedures and school safety plans as a result of Senate Bill 323, which addresses accommodations related to federal disability laws. Disaster procedures and school safety plans previously required adaptations be included for pupils with disabilities in accordance with the Federal Americans with Disabilities Act. Effective January 2024, those adaptations included in the disaster procedures must also be in accordance with the Federal Individuals with Disabilities Education Act and Section 504 of the Federal Rehabilitation Act of 1973. Additionally, language has been added to the Ed Code specifying that the annual evaluation or review of the school safety plan must include ensuring that the plan includes the appropriate adaptations for students with disabilities. Another requirement is that a school employee, a pupil's parent, guardian, or educational rights holder, or a pupil may bring concerns to the school principal about an individual pupil's ability to access disaster safety procedures described in the plan after the first evaluation or review is conducted and after each annual evaluation or review of the plan. If it is determined that there is no merit to the concern, then the school principal must direct the school site council, school safety planning committee, or charter school to appropriately modify the school safety plan. And lastly, language was added to the Ed Code stating that all school site council, school safety planning committee, or charter school discussions related to individual students with disabilities for the purposes of these requirements are subject to state and federal laws regarding privacy of student information. For Senate Bill 153, revisions to Ed Code require that the Comprehensive School Safety Plan to add an additional instructional continuity plan to establish communication with pupils and their families when in-person instruction is disrupted due to emergency situations that force school closures, such as our recent experience with the COVID pandemic and natural disasters. Included on the slide are 3 components to be addressed in the instructional continuity plan. Procedures for pupil engagement following the emergency must be defined. Additionally, procedures that establish two-way communication with pupils and their families and provide support for pupils' social, emotional, mental health, and academic needs. Additionally, per AB 2887, plans must include procedures for responding to individual experiencing a sudden cardiac arrest or similar life-threatening medical emergency while on school grounds. Let's take a look at the timeline and approval process for the Comprehensive School Safety Plan. Schools must update and adopt a plan by March 1st of every year. Additionally, the school site council or safety planning committee must present the plan at a public meeting at the school site prior to adopting the plan to allow for public opinion regarding the plan. And this may occur at a regular parent meeting. There are also notification requirements in Ed Code that specify that the school site council or safety planning committee must notify in writing the persons and entities listed, if available, of the public meeting. The school safety plan must be submitted to the school district for approval. There's no specific deadline in statute for school district or COE approval of the plan. However, the CDE recommends that plans be approved by the district or COE at the next board meeting after approval by the school, or as soon as practical, before October 15th. School districts and COEs must also notify the CDE by October 15th of each year of any schools that have not completed these requirements. It's also important to note that the approved comprehensive school safety plan must be readily available for public inspection. Some considerations for this include posting it on the school website or the district website, or perhaps maintaining a binder with a copy of the plan for inspection at the school site administration office. So you want to develop an internal process for public inspection of the plan, including identifying appropriate school staff to assist with this process. The CDE has a number of resources available to support schools in developing and updating school safety plans, including their Comprehensive School Safety Plan webpage and a Comprehensive School Safety Plan checklist. The CDE webpage provides lots of information and resources, including the requirements for comprehensive school safety plans, recommended components for the plans, and best practice consideration for schools, districts, and county offices. The checklist, which you can see a screenshot of the first 2 pages on the slide, includes the school safety plan, as well as suggestions and resources for various components of the plan. To conclude, our presentation offers just a few of the best practice considerations recommended by CDE for districts and schools. Some best practices for school districts include assigning a liaison to schools to oversee school safety planning, implementation, and emergency management, coordinating emergency response drills with local first responder agencies, and providing guidance, training, support, and oversight to schools, as well as providing a template for the school safety plan. Some best practices for schools include discussing the school safety plan and role-playing possible scenarios at both certificated and classified staff meetings, conducting lockdown, shelter-in-place, and other evacuation drills, and also ensuring that all staff and substitute teachers receive information and materials related to school safety procedures.